Here on my island, with nothing but space, eyes peeled right back to view every embrace. People surround me, so I'm not alone.
When I first started, I used to steal my mum's sewing machine that was tucked down on a table. She wouldn't let me use it. So when she was out, I'd flip it back up and taught myself how to use that. And I also inherited a great auntie from my great auntie. I inherited her knitting machine. So when I was about 12, I started teaching myself on that as well. And but I constantly was making things. I thought I wanted to be a carpenter. I got a tool set for my 10th birthday. It was great, proper tools and everything. And I used to make little houses and everything. But yeah, it was cloth. My gran used to give me little scraps of cloth and things. I'd make little things and stuff for my toys or whatever. And then I made my first pair of trousers with a zip fly when I was 12. They were awful. They were like army green colour and didn't fit very well, but I thought they were great. So all through school I did art, design, technology, textiles. That's all I wanted to do. I wasn't interested in anything else. I scraped through everything else, managed to get that, but that's all I wanted to do. So A-levels, that's what I did. Went to art college, textiles. I did a lot, some printing. All the tutors told me that I should do surface decoration. I was like, no, I'm doing fashion. Went off to Manchester, did a fashion degree, learnt a lot. It was a very good course. Specialised sort of in knitwear, but also I was going down the costume route a little bit. I didn't really know. I was still very arty, very free, up to some people, because in the fashion world you have to draw very tight illustrations, but I was very much painting big pictures and things like that. And then I got a scholarship to go to Royal College of Art in London, which was a massive surprise. I didn't really think that I would fit in there, but that was brilliant. That was a bit like going back to art college, because it was all artists in different categories, everyone in the same boat, really high, passionate about what they were doing. And I specialise in industrial knitting machines there, so very fine gauge, almost like jersey, and dyed a lot of my yarns and things like that. When I was in University of Manchester, I designed some fabrics and won 2 travel awards. One was to go anywhere in the world with British Airways, and one was to go on a sort of discovery to somewhere, a travel bursary basically. So with the travel bursary, whilst I was in university, I went to Cuba to do photography to inspire my work, and it was amazing. Because I went to do my MA, I had 2 years there. I deferred the British Airways, but as soon as I finished my MA, they said you either take it now or you lose it. So I'd sort of been offered a job in Italy with a yarn company. And it was like, either go there or go travelling. And I chose to go travelling. I went to Australia. I've always loved surfing, water, sports, sea, everything. So Australia was great. But all this time, I was like, what am I going to do? I came back from Australia with a surfboard, a didgeridoo, and a baby, which wasn't in the plan. And so that kind of changed my whole life, because I had this little human being that I had to look after. I made her some little hoodies and things. I just bought a sewing machine, and one of these sewing machines off eBay, and I went into the local surf shop because we were friends with him, and he said, "Oh, I like that. Where do you get that from?" I made it. He said, "Oh, wow, brilliant. Do you want to make some stuff for the shop? We haven't got any children's clothes." So I was like, I haven't really got any money. So he gave me £400, a cheque for £400, which I thought was like loads of money at the time. And I bought another sewing machine for about £100 and something off eBay, which is an absolute bargain now, because you can't get them on eBay at that price anymore, and some fabric. But what I really struggled with was finding fabric that I liked the patterns on. There wasn't really anything I liked. So I did do a little bit of screen printing in college, tiny bit. So I bought one frame and some ink and made an image, and I think it was like a jungly one with birds in, and printed that, and it worked. And that was just like that was how I started screen printing, because I realised that I could create my own images onto fabric that no one else could have. So then it was like thinking up a name. I went through so many hundreds of names, and the isea surfwear came up with, it was everything that I love is connected with the sea, and it was about what I see. So it's just a play on words, really. And we put the surfwear in because obviously it's surfy inspired, so it's a surf lifestyle, really. All my work, I'd say nearly 99% of it is inspired by living by the sea and being on the beach. We're really lucky to live on such a beautiful coastline in Pembrokeshire. So I'm always searching for inspiration, and from sea creatures, from mythical stories, and one of my main things is we do beach cleans. So we volunteer for a charity called Surfers Against Sewage, and we go out and organise beach cleans, try and get as many volunteers as we can to help us. But that's developed into a bit of more than just cleaning up the beach and throwing the rubbish in the bin. A lot of the rubbish ends up coming back to here for me to sort, so that I can use it to create patterns, and directly influences my next lot of work that I'm doing. It's really actually using the rubbish to create prints and things. When we make one of these hoodies, we start with a plain piece of fabric, and we have screens that I've designed. So I draw images, which I then process into a screen and print that onto the fabric. We then dry the fabric, heat set it so that it won't wash off, cut it, and then bring it down here. So we cut upstairs and then we bring it down here, and then we have these big industrial machines. So this one does overlocking, which does all the seams, and then we go on to the cover stitch, where we do all the top stitching and make it look nice and finished and professional. And then we've got the little things like making the buttons and just all the little finishes then. So and we don't only make hoodies. We make hoodies for children, men, women. We make yoga pants. We make leggings, t-shirts, and a lot of our fabrics we're trying to make out of organic cotton and sustainable fabrics now as well. As I said before, the designs are mainly inspired by the sea or surf culture and surf lifestyle. Our new lot of work, which you can't see here at the moment, but you will when I go and do a print demonstration, is directly inspired by the plastic rubbish that we get off the beach. But a lot of these images are my hand drawings. So I hand draw and then scan in and process and make it into the screen. Okay, so with the screen printing, I create a black and white image, which I then print out onto an acetate, and this acetate is then put onto a screen that is coated with a light sensitive paste, and then we burn the image and create a stencil. So then that stencil is placed upon the fabric, and we put whatever colour inks we want onto it, squeegee them across, which because of the mesh on the screen, it will just let enough ink through to create the right amount on the fabric, because you don't want loads of thick ink or anything. And then we take the screen off and repeat the process as many times as we need to. Dry the fabric, heat set it. The heat makes it wash fast, and that's it really. So this one is random flowers. They're actually flowers that I think I took photographs of in Australia. So it's not always inspired by the Pembrokeshire coastline. Sometimes it's wherever I am. I take hundreds and hundreds of photos. So then I've hand drawn from it and then created a bit of a pattern, because obviously the flower wasn't stripy before. I sort of put my own mark on it as well then. All sorts of people buy my product. It's really difficult to actually pinpoint who, because a lot of people say, well, you do surfwear, so surfers buy it. Well, actually, most surfers are skint, so they don't. Not saying my product's really expensive, but if you've got to count in that we hand make every single item, and every single item is different, and we also make to order. So we sell to families, I would say. So quite often the parents will buy for their children, and they'll just realise that they wash so well, the quality is so high. We actually do an exchange recycling program for children's hoodies, so when they grow out of them, they can bring them back and they get money off their next one, and we sell them on as second-hand ones. And we just get then the parents buy one because they realise the quality's, they last for a long time, and we get loyal customers that just come back time and time again, and just you end up living in them. I have a couple of hoodies and I just alternate them. They wash well. The ink doesn't fade. This one's about 3 or 4 years old now and it's still going. It's like, so from any age 1 up to 90 something, I think we sold to. So if you come into our studio or our shop when we have one in the winter, or to a festival, and we've got all these hoodies on the rail, but there isn't one in your size, you like that pink one, but you want it with blue flowers instead of grey flowers, it's not a problem. We can make for you, and it doesn't cost any extra because we're making all the time, so it's not a problem. And what we do, we people love it because they love having something that they think is unique to them, even though every hoodie is actually unique, but it's a good thing to have. So we show people these colour charts. So these are the fabrics that we actually print onto. So they choose something off there, and then they choose the inner fabric, or it can be, some of the hoodies reversible, so it could be the other side of it. So they choose something off here, something off that one, and then they either look at what we've got on the rails and choose a pattern, or we do have a book that has all our patterns in. So, and they can choose from all these patterns. So these are all in black and white. Obviously, they're what we print with the ink. So then they can choose the ink colour as well. So there's about 4 or 5 things they have to choose. Obviously, the size and everything as well. So if we have, I think we go up to extra large in a men's hoodie, but you're a 6XL, we can make a 6XL. So for the last 3 years in the winter, we decided we don't want to do the outdoor craft Christmas fairs and things. They're just really hard work. It's raining and it's cold, so we go around and we find empty shops and we find out who owns them, and we say, can we go in them? And we've been really lucky. In the last 3 years we've had one in Narberth, one in Pembroke, one in Narberth again. So that's kind of our routine now. We like being outdoors at festivals through the summer, and travelling a little bit and promoting our business to the rest of Wales, not just Pembrokeshire, and further afield. We go right down to Brighton actually. So, and then people can come to our studio by appointment. It's not officially a shop, but so every winter for about 8 to 12 weeks we do that. So. Okay, so this is it's actually a little reversible jacket that I've made, but I make it on the same print onto the reversible hoodies as well. And the image is actually based on a Welsh myth called Country Gweloedd, if I've said that right, where the town got washed under the sea because the watch guards weren't looking after it. They were all drunk in the town having a party. This was a princess. I've changed her to a mermaid. So quite a lot of the time my work inspired by local myths and legends and things. So it's actually got a little tower on it somewhere. So that's the tower, the clock tower, with the bell in it. You can just see. So also this design was based on the Petrified Forest, which was in Amroth. We had some really bad storms a few years ago, and all the sand was washed away, and it this Petrified Forest underneath. So these are like the tree. It's my version, my sort of way of things. So you've got the trees are actually petrified, and then you've got all the sea monsters and things. And there was a little rhyme in it. It said, I can't actually see the beginning. The Petrified Forest deep under the sea is a very scary place, and it's scared of you and me. So I like using words as well. So. My favourite product is the reversible hoodie that I've got on. They're super, super warm, really hard wearing. If you get it dirty one side, you can turn it around the other way. And colourful, and I think I've got 2, and I just alternate them. When one's in the wash, I'm wearing the other one, and that's pretty much what I wear, unless I have to dress up smart for something. But running your own business in a rural, tiny little place in West Wales. It sounds idyllic, but actually it's really tough, I'm being honest. I've built this up with, I had no savings, I had no money, I had a child on my own. So I don't actually really know how I've managed to do it. I think literally every penny I've earned, I've put back into the business. So every time I think I've actually made a little bit of money, it's like, oh, now I've got to buy some more fabric, or I've got to buy some more ink, or, pay the rent, pay the bills. So it's not easy, but I absolutely love doing it. And I don't think I have worked. I've worked I've taught in a college and everything. And as much as I love teaching the students, the politics and that side of things is just, it's not what I like. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'm passionate about. And I believe that one day I might actually make a tiny little bit of money, but it's not really about the money. It's about the lifestyle and creating a lifestyle that we're happy with, and creating something for my daughter that she might not necessarily take this on. I don't think she will take this on, but she's seen how hard I've worked, and hopefully it'll give her a good work ethic. And she actually works, she's 13 years old now, and she actually works for me at festivals. She can run the stall. She doesn't do the creative side, although she's quite creative, but I think she's seen too much of it. So it's not easy, but it's a labour of love, I think. In 10 years' time, hopefully, all our fabrics and all our business will be completely sustainable. We're really working hard to work on using organic and recyclable fabrics. It's really important for the environment and everything, and we want to connect all our beach cleaning work with our clothing and sort of link them together. We are working on that now, and it's coming together slowly. So 10 years' time, we'd hope to be a completely sustainable and profit-making company would be nice.
Here on my island, with nothing but space, eyes peeled right back to view every embrace. People surround me, so I'm not alone. Here I'm created, and here I am home.